Hello, hello. Welcome, Mr. Allofit. How are you today?
I'm all right, and how are you, darling?
I am awesome. I'm great considering the entirety of the world right now. How's your
Yes.
day going?
My day was all right. I had to shoot a few videos.
Were you looking this fabulous in all of them? Because I bet you were.
I hope so.
I know so. I'm a little nervous to talk to you too, because it's
I,
Mr.
I'm, I'm
Allofit.
just, I'm just so blessed that I'm speaking to a fellow African international. Hello,
So
honey.
I just want you, I know you because you're fabulous and I get my research done, but I want you to introduce yourself to everyone, just tell us a little bit about you, about your name, what inspired your name.
All right, so I am Mr. Oliver, the superstar of the century.
That's
And
it.
what inspired my name is the fact that I am multi talented. So I'm a choreographer, I'm a stylist, and I am now a musician. Trying to practice all my art forms, give the best out of what I can produce. In a simultaneously using all my gifts, so hence the name Mr. All of It, because I dabble in the whole design, the whole thing.
Love it.
I write my own music, I choreograph my own pieces, I choreograph for other artists like Shoma Josie, Musiswa I've worked with in terms of styling, uh, a few of the girls, and a few of the gents. I'm just in and out. I'm in the industry. I'm here to rock.
We love it. We love it. And we're trying to get you everywhere in Africa, Like we want to hear of you in Lagos, Accra, Kenya, everywhere, everywhere.
Oh wow, it's so crazy because I've got this sound that I've been working on for years, and it's in the Afro pop sound, and it's so crazy that
Oh,
it's reaching Nigeria, for instance, right now, which is so crazy. And you guys have a lot of you guys as artists have mastered that, pop hip
yeah.
hop, which
We love to
actually,
shake it, in Nigeria.
woo,
Get it
woo, woo,
down, club crawling every single Friday and
that
Mondays
sound
too.
really, really slips off my tongue.
you know, I I would love it to just have like international artists just coming in and out of Nigeria. Post Rona, of course, because like Rona is definitely not letting anyone go anywhere right now.
Yeah. I wanted to know, what's the scene like that side, musically, and also in terms of uh, us queer artists. Would we ever be able to get booked over that side?
The thing is, what I love about Lagos right now is the constant evolution that is going on. So
Oh,
musically, as you've mentioned, there's a lot of Afro pop, Afro beats going on because we in Nigeria we tend to love bangers, just like bum 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 everywhere, get your body moving. And a lot of people will tell you it's because we have so many problems that we just need like to keep dancing away our problems. But we also have music that gets you really into introspection, where you hear
I've
of
heard.
the ashas of Nigeria, and what I love the most about the music scene right now is that it's going through this Renaissance period. So you might have heard of something called Alte.
Yes.
So the term Alte actually evolved from what more branches. They are another amazing organization called the New Age. So essentially, it was this period where it started off in like early 2016, where all these artists, from musicians to photographers to makeup designers, everyone just all these young people came together and started working together, and they said they were not going to be held back by gatekeepers and they were
Yeah.
going to just break the wall. And that's what they've been doing, which is why you hear of the Lady Donleys, of the Odunsis, of the Santis, people like that, and all the other artists in Lagos and Nigeria as a whole. So essentially, they're not just making music that is pop bangers, it's music that you can cry to, music you can smoke to, music you can fuck to,
Uh,
and it's like they refuse to be defined and they refuse to be held back. And that's what I think I love the most because with organizations like Lucid Lemons that started in 2015, Native Mag that started in 2016, More Branches 2017, Hamatan Rain. There's so many people right now. All we're trying to do as organizations is to push this music further and further. And so while they may not be mainstream Nigerians, they are performing on big stages, both internationally and nationally. Now, bringing it to a queer perspective, talking about queer, artist in Nigeria. Well, as
Yeah.
you know, I am a queer artist. I am a poet. I don't make music. I have zero talent for that. But we do have queer artists, queer Nigerian artists. I mean, we don't have a lot of out ones, but
Yes.
in Nigeria, we learn to, how do I explain? Like, it's just like you learn to call with the road, and so a lot of them are not out, so they are out there making the music, and people are enjoying it. I mean, there's speculations about their sexuality, but it's kind of like if you don't say, we would let you in. And the thing is, Nigerians still love like fabulosity. You get, I don't know if you've heard of Bob Risky.
Yes.
So Bobrisky might not be the most loved person in Nigeria, but Bobrisky is a hell of an entertainer, and she gets amazing, amazing views. Even though Nigerians hate, even though there's a lot of transphobia and homophobia in Nigeria, Bobrisky is still killing it, and people still subscribe to her channels and her Instagram and her Snapchat and all of that. So the thing is, I believe that if you want to do it, you well, I don't know how else to put it, but there are organizations, they may not be the biggest organizations, but there are organizations there to support you. People like Lucid Lemons for sure, people like More Branches, people like Zikoko Mag would definitely put out your music, put out your stuff. There's a number of organizations. We may not be the gatekeepers yet, but we are definitely barreling through those gates, pushing
I
queer
agree.
artists at the front, which is essentially also another reason why we're having this Zoom Pride interview, because, Lucid Lemons wanted to highlight queer artists across Africa, because I was just thinking, and I was talking to my friends at work, and I was saying to them, every time it comes to Pride, when I think of music, I think of European or American music, and I'm like, how many queer African artists can I name? And I'm like, not just my friends, but like actual out queer African artists. And it was actually a little bit hard, and I had to go to Twitter because I only knew like 10 or 15. And so I went to Twitter. I'm like, okay, you guys, I want you to think about this and like ponder on why we don't have this. And then some people sent me some more artists. I actually heard of you from Jar, Jar
Ah,
or Jar Nation. And Jar was like, Mr. Allofit. And he plugged me, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I love this. And so we made that playlist. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's called Beyond That Gay Shit. It's on Lucid Lemons page. And we've just been trying to pull more people onto more queer African artists. And that has queer African artists reaching out to us. And we just really love that.
yes, I feel you. I feel you. I'm all for the benefit of, you know, our community.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
Growth.
Push and grow that community. And I wanted to ask you if you would like to tell us, like, how do you identify with the community and what are your pronouns so that we do not misgender you?
I'm not super fussy or hectic about my pronouns.
Okay.
I just do believe in respect, though. So somebody can call me a bitch, but it's the tone I will,
It's gonna be
uh,
bitch.
I'll hear. I'll respond to. As well as I'm non-binary. I'm an M
Say
human being.
the MD's
So
in the
I'm in and
building.
out. I'm dipping in and out. I'm a merman. I'm a mermaid.
Love it. I mean, you are gorgeous, so it is what it is.
I think
I wanted to ask, how old are you?
I am turning 25 on the 8th of September.
Are you serious right now?
Yes.
That's my birthday.
Don't joke.
I swear to God Almighty, except I'm like maybe 4 years younger. I'm September 8th, 1999. I have my birth certificate on my phone if you want to see it. I'm serious. That's my birthday.
I believe you. You don't have to show me facts. I believe you. I just think God is so funny right now.
Oh my God. I just knew the power in this room was for something. Love it. Amazing.
Oh,
Amazing.
shout out. So we're twins.
We are twins. We are twins. That means when I'm 25, I'm going to look this fabulous. I'm just, wow, my future is so bright. Love it. This makes me
I
so
love
happy. Nah, I love you. I love you. Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm okay. Focusing. I wanted
yeah.
to, oh God, what are my questions? What is your favorite genre of music to make and to, and to listen to?
So right now I've been in a very like South African, I guess, let me not say South African, let me say African sound because I'm into my Afro pop.
Okay.
I'm into my dance hall. I'm into my
Uh,
anything
love
black
South
right
African
now.
dancehall.
As well as I'm into. I don't know if you know Brenda Fassie. Brenda Fassie
Yes, yes,
and
I
the Big.
do.
So I'm all about the 80s, like jazz funk sort of
Ah,
music right now. So I'm really, really trying to create a very urban, queer, but tasteful
mm.
sound right now. That's also very African. African, if you have to give it some sort of title, African needs to be the highlight of my music right
Mm. I love that. I love that because I feel like over the years we've heard like a lot of Eurocentric music, even lyrically. And so like to hear like what is
now. We
more
don't have
African than others, it's freaking lovely.
we don't have enough queer African stories, in like a musical audible sort of form.
Yes, exactly.
I
But
think I,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I think we're lucky enough to be able to represent that and implement and be those voices.
Exactly. And I'm glad that, we're at a stage where the younger generation can be out, and us doing this is going to lead to a stage where there wouldn't even be a need to be out. And I'm just looking forward to that. I wanted to ask you why you started making music.
Hmm. So I remember actually one time my aunt. I was very young, so my mother's a musician, right? So I grew up in a musical sort of family. Uh, People love music. People love to dance. Very cheerful sort of experience growing up in that regard. So they are artists. So obviously, and we had a church as well. So my grandmother is a pastor, and she had a ministry back in the day. So obviously there was a choir, and I was in all sorts of these rehearsals. And then eventually I started dancing in church, and then so now that's even more music because I'm in the church rehearsals. My mother started making music with Bongani Fassi, which is Brenda Fassi's son at the time, and he still is Brenda Fassi's son. So I would, I remember I was around grade one, grade two. I'd get out of school, and my mother would rush to studio because she was in a girl group called Pearl. So I just literally had this like musical. I was in a musical salad all the time. And I remember my aunt one day told me that hearing me sing late at night after my bedtime, and she was like to me, "Oh, you can't sing, just go to sleep." I remember that. And that always used to drive me because I knew that I had this musical sort of uh, gift in my mind, but I just didn't know exactly how to
What's
shape it
gonna
and
come out?
become of it. And then in 2015, I don't know if you know the body soap Lux.
Locks?
Lux,
Yeah.
Lux body soap, yes.
Mhm.
So there was this agency that had hit Vintage Crew up, which was a dance crew that in the past I co-founded. And we were these boys working in voguing, and they approached us and they were saying they needed a jingle for their new campaign, Lux Luther Lava, Lux whatever. So I created a jingle because they didn't have a song for the campaign, but they wanted us to dance, in the campaign. So I was like, okay, cool. So I wrote this jingle. I was like, this is what we could possibly dance to. And then I was like, I've actually got some sort of rhythm and it's sort of unique. And I just followed up on it. I made a Facebook note post, and I was like, I need a producer, only to find out that a guy that I went to primary school with, who was like a major geek back then, Darren, the principal's son, is a musician. He grew up to be a producer. He's now a producer. So then him and I, my first producing sort of studio experience was with somebody that I had known, from my childhood, so I got to be able to get comfortable in my sound because he was also, learning as a producer, and he was very, in the experimenting sort of phase of his journey and career. So we got to grow together musically. So I released Five to Mainstream. I released Losing Sunglasses 2016, Five to Mainstream 2017. I don't know if you've heard those mixtapes. They're
No,
out
I
on SoundCloud.
haven't heard those. They aren't on
They're
Apple
out.
Music.
Yes, they're out on SoundCloud. I took
Oh,
them down.
SoundCloud. Okay, I have
I
to
took
go
them
check that
down.
out then.
Yeah, I took them down because I really just feel like that's my gift to my community. And now I feel like I'm making music. I had a rehearsal in front of the world. Now I'm making, stage-worthy, stadium-worthy music type.
I love that. But you have to sing that jingle for us, though.
I don't remember how it went. It was like, Lux Luther Leather, Lux Luther Leather.
Hey,
But it was a very sexy, like
yeah,
snappy, like
I can feel it. It just gets you moving.
yeah, Lux Luther Leather. You better get your thing on. Put it on like those like little RuPaul skits. I had one of those popping.
I love it. I love it. I want you to tell us about your fabulous style, though, because I mean, wow, you look great.
Fabulous style. I think. So I obviously I grew up because I was dancing. I was now under the pressure of a stage, So I grew up knowing that a stage is a stage. So you have to, sort of present yourself in a way that is will touch somebody who's watching you, because it's not enough to you need to get all the reactions. You need to taste. What are the five senses? You need to touch all five senses, as a performer. So that became a lifestyle very quickly. And I remember for dance competitions back in the day when I was still at Danceway around the early 2000s, 2007, 2009. I used to force my mother to buy me new clothes for every dance competition. And that was like when I'm a Kip back here in South Africa was hot, and I would want to bathe in apes. And it was like a sneakerhead sort of 15-year-old, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean,
sorry to your mom's wallet,
Yeah, and she's also pretty stylish herself. I actually used to wear a lot of new clothes. So I guess it's something, a lot of who I am has happened itself. Like I haven't trained for this. I've just literally become,
I love it. You just grew into like this fabulous person because it's always been in you.
But totally, like right now, my inspirations are like the Cat Williams, the Snoop Dogg's, I call myself the queer P. Diddy because I like to host. Before COVID-19, I was hosting parties and stuff,
Oh, parties sounds so nice.
Creating safe spaces here in South A. So
it's amazing.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm the heteros. I'm stealing here and there from the heteros, but I'm staying true to myself.
Robbing the colonizers. The colonized.
I'm the true integration.
I love it. I love it all. I was going to ask you, because you're talking about creating safe spaces. I wanted to ask you about experiencing phobia in the music and dance industry. How has that been? Have you experienced any? Has it been violent?
I guess us as queer people, we've literally grown, and I'm happy that now the world is, we're being more vocal and we're speaking about it. But a lot of my life, I think I would be in positions where I'm experiencing homophobia, but I literally grew the thickest skin. And I guess it's the people that I have around me, or have always had. God has put really cool people in my life that are super, super confident, and we've all taught each other confidence. So homophobia is something that maybe happens around me, but I never pay attention to it. I never engage it. I never do anything to provoke it. And I guess us existing could never be provoking homophobia, but I just don't want to be involved in a situation that, could be like that. But I have scars for proof. If you want some evidence. Here, this was a homophobic attack at the club. Someone threw a jug in my face, but that's a story for another day. I'm just showing you that it does happen, but we literally, if we have to have our eyes on the goals, our eyes on taking up space, as Miss Universe said. Yeah, so homophobia it's like racism. Racism will always be there. There will always be people who don't like other people. It's just about, I guess, our governments as well, implementing stricter rules and instilling, because homophobia is also a generational thing, just like racism.
Yes.
So people are raised in households that are super, super hetero, so they grow up super, super fucked. basically. So I guess we just need to be the strong girls who at least keep it moving in a way, you know, not shying away or turning a blind eye to the actual homophobia, you know, if you get what I mean.
I understand what you mean. I completely get it. You know, in Nigeria, we have a 14-year anti-gay law, and we have a lot of organizations and individuals working towards taking it down. And you know, while that's happening, the law just really empowered people to like just be more violent. So we find that most organizations we have right now in Nigeria has split their main work into two. So it's like pursuing the legal side and combating like the homophobia on the streets, while also trying to we reorientate the people. And I find that that's the best thing to do. We need to split it on a three-way. We can't just, excuse me, we can't just barrel through without like looking at the effects, because not all of us have the privilege, you know, to just keep barreling through.
Yeah.
So we must split our efforts into two, you know, to defend while we attack.
Yes, yes.
But now
And
I want, okay.
I guess it's also, I really wouldn't be able to put myself in your shoes, in the sense that I don't know what it's like to grow up in a country that from get-go, you're an abomination. You're even by law. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's difficult, you know. It's quite it's been horrible. I mean, it's a country where, as a queer person, you definitely have a friend who's been, if you've not been attacked, you definitely have a friend who's been attacked. And even worse, you have like, at least in your first 5 circles, you probably know someone who's died of a
Whoa.
homophobic attack. And I I'm just trying to do my part like the rest of every other queer person who's pushing forward, you know, to make a space where future generations coming don't even, where they would be horrified by these things, you know, because I find that right now a lot of us have just, we've normalized our trauma. And
True.
so
Very true.
saying all the things that happened, you know, when I talk about getting death threats for being a queer person, I kind of say it as a joke, because it's just something that it's just stuck with me, you know. And it's weird how defensive my mechanism it just, I hate that my defensive mechanisms work so well, you know. It's like I want to live in a place where I'm actually shocked at
Mm.
homophobia. Like, it's such a strange thing. But I moved out of the country in December, and now I'm living in America, so it's supposed to be better, so we'll see about that.
Oh my word, what's going on there actually? If you can tell me like a sentence. What's
See,
going on?
I feel like, I mean, for the first time in my life, when I moved there, I got called, you know, I got called a nigger, and I laughed in my white man's face, you know, because it was so strange to me, you know, coming from Nigeria, coming from Africa, because like we're all black, you know, and I had never been called like a nigger before, and I'm like, oh my god, it happened.
Ah,
Somebody called me a nigger, you know, and it was it was ridiculous to me, but then it just it's like, for me over here, it's like I have less worries about like attacks as a queer person, but now I have to worry about my skin color, you know.
yes.
Each time I see the police pass by a bus stop or anything, I wonder, are they just going to look at me and be like, okay, this is like, you look like
Like you get
you
into
should be
the truck.
shot,
You get in the
you
truck.
know. And you know, in Nigeria, we're dealing with, because we do have police brutality in Nigeria. I mean, I in Nigeria, I've literally had a policeman cock his gun at me and tell me to get out of the bus, or he will shoot everyone in the bus with me. And you know, we've had things but in Nigeria, I had sort of agency. I don't know how to explain it, but like, because it was my country and it was my state, so I knew people that I could like call through, you know, because the police is just a matter of like power against power. So there were people, I had privilege enough to be able to call people that would be able to like come get me if it was a police thing, and I'll probably like pull up with like the military to combat that. But over here, I'm just like a regular folk, you know. There's no one for me to call if a police cocks a gun. It's just like, sir, please, I just got here. Please don't let me die in a foreign land. And with everything that's happening, it's just, it's crazy, because like my mind is, I have to deal with news from home, because the world is just burning right now. It's burning everywhere. So while I'm dealing with police brutality in America, I have to deal with people being raped and killed and murdered in Nigeria. You know, women fall,
A lot
queer
going
fall.
on.
everything, you know. So I'm just sitting in my house trying to enjoy Pride by talking to amazing artists, you know, because I find that it's been hard to keep hope, and that is what we must fight to keep. And Lucid Lemons is looking to push that, to kindle the fire, rekindle the fire that sparks hope in all of us, and we must never give up as queer Africans,
Well,
because hope is the one thing that cannot be killed. So that's what
yes,
we're trying to do right now.
I
But
feel you.
I want to talk to you about Activate. You have to tell me about that song because it is such a bomb. Like, I remember the first time I saw it, I was twerking in the bathtub when it came on in the playlist. I'm like, Activate, Activate. So tell us a little bit about Activate.
So Activate is a song that came to me in the studio um, that I'm featuring Muesli, and it's produced by a producer called Cool Drink. Um, Activate is a feel-good song, man. It's a
It
song about
is.
waking up and shaking off all the shit and activating. And literally, it's like a car with no petrol. Activate, put all the petrol inside of you and get up and get moving, it's a cool pick me up kind of track. I
It
think I made it for
is.
myself. Made it for myself actually.
I'm so
Yeah.
thankful that you made it, you know, because I really needed it this morning, you know, really needed to like really activate. And I was so tired, you know, so this was me in the mirror and it's like, boom. And I'm like, activate,
It's a
activate.
cool kickstart of a song. I really tried to put some really good compact, some good energy that
You
somebody.
did, you did. You really succeeded with that. Thank you, thank you. All of us that listen to the plays are so grateful, you know. And, you know, I saw Activate came out in 2019. I checked, I didn't see music from 2020. When are we going to get new music from you?
So I'm currently working on some new music. I've been working
Okay.
on some new music actually since last year. And maybe it looks like I'm gonna release my third mixtape pretty soon, but I'm gonna drop a few singles. I need to drop a music video for Activate pretty soon. I'm trying to
Hey.
figure it out. COVID really like had us restructuring our plans.
Yeah, COVID was
And
like
our
having
budget,
plans. Take that down.
and our budgets. We have to restructure everything. So I'm hoping in a few weeks we'll have something out.
I mean, we waited this long. We can wait a few more weeks. I don't mind. I don't mind at all, you know.
He's the sweetest.
I have a question for you. This is actually my favorite question to ask, you know, because I am
Okay.
a romantic simp. I want you to tell me the first time you fell in love. Like actual love, you know, not infatuation, like real life love that just like has has your entire life revolving and shaking. Love that is changing, you know. Tell me about that.
Love that is changing. I guess I'm in like my first like long term real relationship right now.
Okay.
So, I mean, I feel like that's been changing. I'm like living with somebody. I'm living with my partner. I'm in a full on
Must be
sort of
nice.
relationship. I think it's in my life. I could say I'm not going to consider anything prior to this because nothing's been this long.
How
You know?
long is this long, by the way?
We're approaching 2 years now, and like we've been staying together since like a week since like I met him the Saturday. The next Saturday, I had a date, and then that was when we started dating.
It was just like so good. You just flowed so well. I love it. I
So I
love
guess
love like that.
everything else, I've loved people, or I've said I love other people, but it's never been
Like this.
100% or neutral. I guess
Mm, I
the
get
ratios
that.
have never balanced.
I can relate so hard to that, you know. I'm just glad that you found love because I find that like love is the biggest force to have to drive us in everything we do every day because love is powerful and it's ever beautiful, you know, and its impact on our art and the way we
Yeah,
create is so freaking wonderful, and I'm glad that you have that. I mean, I
it's
need you to like bless me so that I can get some of that.
I'm super privileged. I'm super privileged.
It's a beautiful thing, you
I had to
know.
go through a few frogs before I found the prince,
Can
but
I
hey.
feel like I have to line up some frogs at this rate, you know, just kiss them real quick so I can get mine. Or maybe I'm a frog and I need a princess to kiss me.
Right?
Maybe, you know, never really know.
Oh my word.
So, you know, with South Africa, you have a civil union act and you have some level of, you know, privilege for the queer community in comparison to most African countries. And you guys have like pride and pride matches. And, you know, from someone who's never attended pride, never had that, considering the laws in Nigeria, like the homophobia, I wanted to ask you what you thought of pride and like the importance of pride and the role it has played in your life.
So I guess pride is great, is super, super great in terms of our visibility, you know, in the world
Yes.
and in the constitution, the fact that we have those rights here in South Africa. But I don't think pride has done anything for me. I've performed there once, but I can't really say it's done anything for me, or you know, I've been involved, or I feel like it's doing great. It's very white at the moment, actually.
I wish I could
The
say I
white,
was surprised.
yeah, the white folks have sort of made it their own sort of event, and it's not inclusive of everybody that is queer, and you know, your sort of economic status.
Yeah.
It's doof 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 in the white club. You know, that's not pretty inclusive.
It seems like this.
Which
Okay.
I think we as the Black gays should take responsibility. We don't need, yes, the Constitution has allowed us to you know, has said, yes, you guys are queer and allowed to, you know, live. But I don't think us as the Black queer folks here should celebrate Pride the way the white people do.
Very true. Very true. And you know, it's funny you mentioned this because I think it was Jaya and I that were having this conversation, and he said that we need to reimagine, you know, we need to reimagine how pride is, especially as Black queer people in Africa, because as much as it is a thing for all queer people, it is something that originated in America. And you know, the our dates for Pride, first of all, the dates we have for Pride, the events, you know, the plans for Pride, it all has to differ, you know, especially when it comes to African communities, because we are, as much as we are all queer, we are different people and we have our cultures and all. And I feel like there's so many ways we can reimagine pride to fit each one
I
of
think
us.
it would also take us trying to, you know, research. I mean, there's people who should get getting paid for this, to research our queer African roots. Do you know what I mean?
True.
Surely we've existed before,
We
you
have.
know.
And you know,
So
okay, keep going.
we should. I'm sure we've had our own way of celebrating our queer existence as Africans. Surely, surely, surely.
You know, it's crazy you mentioned that because that's actually that's one of my personal projects. You know, I'm trying to work on the queer political history of Nigeria, you know,
Mm.
to dress up to where we are right now. Because if I find that if you ask quite people like who are our leaders, who are our ancestors, who are the people that got us here, you can really get answers. And you know, we know of Stonewall riots, we know of Marshall P. Johnson, but what do we know of our own communities? And that is what I'm trying to establish, you know, establish a basis so that when we are teaching our core history to future kids in schools, we would have something to go to. So if anyone is watching this and you want to fund me, that would be great because it's only so far I can go without funding. You know, you mentioned earlier you're going to be 25 this year, you know, the fabulous 25. And I wanted to ask you that in your time of reflection, if it's a pretty personal question, so feel free to take a minute to think about it. I wanted to ask you that are you proud of yourself, like where you are in your art forms, and of yourself as a queer individual, and where you are standing with your thoughts and your wholeness?
Hmm. I think I'm settling into myself, you know. I don't even know how long the journey is, but I think I'm settling in. Uh I'm not feeling like I'm the final product yet. In terms of my journey as a creative, I feel like I'm always developing, I'm always finding new ways of creating and voicing myself and expressing myself. So I think it's a never-ending journey as well. But I guess you have to find moments of fulfillment every now and then to grab on. And I do get a few of those. I used to get a few of those when I'd get off stage, but now that there's no stage to be on, you need to
You're on our
introspect and
stage.
try and be grateful. Do you know what I mean? You need to be grateful for everything that is coming and everything at every stage you've been on. So I don't know. I guess I'll say it's a never-ending journey for me. And I keep trying to find my biscuits of fulfillment, my little snacks of fulfillment.
I love that. That's a beautiful way to put it. Little snacks of fulfillment. What kind of music would you like to be making in the next 10, 15 years?
I'd like to make a song on the moon, yeah?
Okay.
So I don't know, I'd love to make music that has never been made before. I'd like to make sounds that I think I'm on a good journey of creating and exploring a new sound that I even haven't heard before. So if I continue, I think I'm onto something, you know. I don't even know because of how my life is and how I'm just always becoming. I'm becoming, like I'm living in today. Like I'm becoming every day. When I'm on stage, I'm becoming. When I'm this, that, I'm becoming. I can't necessarily pinpoint and tell you what kind of music I would want to make in the next 10 years. I really don't know. You know, every day
No,
it's something new.
I think that's a great answer because it shows that like you've not defined yourself and it shows that you can keep going. It shows you a whole world of imagination. So you could literally be anywhere 10 to 15 years from now. And I think
Yeah,
that's great that we shouldn't bind ourselves as artists and creatives. So yes, I love
but
it.
what I can tell you is that in the next 10 to 15 years, I need to have started implementing my superstar school where,
Okay.
because you have to pass the baton, you know? And I don't
Yes.
think us queer musicians, for instance, have passed on the baton.
Very true.
Hence, we have no history or lineage to hold on to, you know?
Mm.
So surely, as Mr. Allofit, my legacy would have to be some sort of superstar school where I leave what, you know, my resources, and I leave what I've been able to gather, the info I've gathered here on Earth, and I leave it to a group of young, amazing superstars that I believe in.
That's great. That's great. I wanted to ask you what you thought your superpower was, but right now I'm just thinking that your superpower is just being amazing and just having the heart to want to grow our community. But you tell me what you think your superpower is.
My superpower is my faith, um, because it takes your faith is believing in the light even if it's
Mm,
dark, you know. um, I think my faith is my strongest superpower, and I think my faith helps me create my tomorrow. So
mm.
um, I don't know, my superpower is definitely my faith.
I love it. That is so beautiful. Thank you, because we have come to an end. It was so short and so fast. But thank you for attending Lucid Lemons
Ah,
Zoom
I,
Pride
I,
interview.
I appreciate you for this. You are an amazing, gorgeous,
Thank you.
uh, warm-hearted soul.
I appreciate it
Very
so much.
intelligent soul too. Super intelligent.
Thank you, thank you. And you know, I'm glad that we rounded up with you talking about your faith because, like I told you earlier, that is what we're trying to re-inspire right now. We're trying to re-inspire hope and faith in the future and in ourselves as queer people. We're trying to push for a regeneration of love and light and just really fight with the darkness that has been 2020. And we would love for you to just say a few words about that to all queer people around Africa right now.
To all, I'm Mr. Allofit, and to all the queer people around Africa right now and the world at large, I would love to say keep the faith, keep it going, keep the fire burning. Uh, one day is like 1,000 years, 1,000 years could be like one day. So keep that faith.
Thank you so much for coming on here, for talking to us, for every wonderful thing you've said. Lucid Lemons and I completely appreciate you and love you. Can you tell us where we can find
Shout out,
you? Shout out.
shout out all the way from South Africa.
Can you tell us where we can find your music and follow you, how we can
Oh yes.
support you, give you money?
Oh yes. So my Instagram is Mr. Dot all of it. All of it being one word. Twitter, it's Mr. underscore all of it. Facebook, Mr. Dot all of it. YouTube, Mr. all of it. And on also all digital platforms, it's Mr. all of it. SoundCloud is where my 2 mixtapes are. So go there, it's free streaming. For the new singles, Activate, which is out right now. Find that on all major digital platforms. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, and
Awesome.
go to my website. I'm still forming my website, but I
Okay.
want to keep shouting it out. Go to www.mrallofit.com, everybody.
All right, we will. I
Yeah.
mean, thank you so much, Mr. Allofit. Well, my name is Yin Oyinbo Agbola. I realized I didn't introduce myself. If you guys want to
Beautiful
follow me,
Yen. Yenzo. Yenzo.
thank you, thank you. Y'all can follow me if you want. I am lady_yin. That's LADY_YINN on Instagram and Twitter. So y'all can follow me. Please follow Lucid Lemons for giving us this amazing platform. We are Lucid_Lemons on Twitter, and we are Lucid Lemons with an extra S on Instagram. Thank you so much, Mr. Gorgeous, all of it.
Goodbye,
And
darling.
this is
Goodbye.
goodbye. Bye, guys.